Hey guys, Akil Stokes here. Welcome back to another episode of the Trading Coach Podcast. In today's episode, I want to talk a little bit about what motivates you to trade. That's going to be very important in keeping that energy level high as you progress through the ups and downs of your journey. Now, if you haven't done so already, make sure you take some time to check out our website, www.tier1trading.com. Between me and you, I recommend hitting that little tab that says, I want the free stuff, and checking out the Truth About Forex Trading free training series. Trust me, it is a must watch. Now, I thought of this question today, and this is something that I've addressed time and time in the past, but I know we have new followers each and every day, each and every week to the Trading Coach Podcast, and seeing how we're almost 660 episodes in, I know not everyone goes back to the very beginning. And I got the question on Twitter today, or actually I involved myself in a conversation. I jumped into a conversation where another trader asked, why did you become a trader? And my response was this. I said, at first, I wanted to make a lot of money, but I decided that it was something that I really wanted to go for once I realized the freedom that comes with trading. And I'll talk a little bit more about freedom later. But like most people, I got into trading. I wasn't necessarily sold on kind of the make $1 million in 1 week type of thing, right? I have a better kind of financial education than that to believe that type of stuff. But I did understand the power of investing. I did understand the power of compounding. I did see results in the market that showed me this can be really, really good. I got invested, or I first got interested in the stock market right around 2007. So I was investing during the recession. So I had a chance to see kind of the best of both worlds. I had a chance to see everything kind of rally up when I first got involved in the market. My first experiences in the market were when the stock markets were just rallying. So I would just buy stuff and it would go up, right? Obviously not as simple as that, but I had some pretty good luck in the market. I then saw the crash of that recession, and I saw everything that I was buying get very, very cheap. So what did I do, right? I bought it on the way up. I sold it for profit, and then I used that profit to buy even more when it got cheaper, and things rebounded from there. So I had a really good experience, firsthand experience of seeing how much money can actually be made in the market. Now, unfortunately for me at the time, I didn't have enough capital to really make any life-changing, the money that I made wasn't life-changing, let's put it like that. If we look in percentages, which I didn't look at the time, I just looked at dollars and cents, but if I looked at percentages, I would have amazed myself with what I was doing. But dollar and cents wise, it was like, yeah, you made a couple $1,000s here and there. And, when I first learned about Forex, my roommate, one of my best friends, best man at my wedding, introduced me about Forex. And the thing that attracted me to Forex, or attracted him and then eventually attracted me to Forex trading, was that it was highly leveraged. It was a much more volatile market, and any trader knows that you need volatility to trade. And the thought process around that was basically that you can multiply your returns in comparison to other markets, the stock market and specifically, X amount. And for someone that was really good at what I was doing, but not really making enough money to make it life-changing, I just assumed that, hey, I'm just going to be good at this new market as well, and I'll just make a lot more money from it. And that's what initially kind of got me into it. Now, obviously, I learned the hard way that that's not necessarily the case. It can be the case, but it's not as simple as it seems. But at the same time, I was starting to fall in love with the game. But what I realized when I really set forth on this journey of becoming a profitable trader was the freedom, right? I always had this entrepreneur bone in me ever since a kid, right? You go back to my middle school days, my elementary school days, my high school days, even my college days, right? I was always selling something. I was always making something and selling something as a way to make a buck. Everything legal for the most part, but anything to make a buck. And I also worked my entire life, right? I've been working since the age of 14, whether it's landscaping to doing summer camps to working in, the dining room, washing dishes and stuff like that, to cleaning toilets, to you name it. And I just got tired of it. And what I loved about trading in the brief moments that I had with it when I was making a lot of money was that I was really able to create my own hours. There's a certain sense of freedom that didn't exist, right? I wasn't on a schedule. My entire life, I'm used to, whether it's between sports or working, Stokes, you have to be here or there, or have to be there at this time. You can't leave until then. Everything was scheduled, and it was kind of annoying. It was kind of constricting. Again, think about this. I'm a recent college graduate who's been involved in sports my entire life. So my college days basically consisted of practice and schoolwork. It wasn't kind of the wild partying that, a few of them, but it wasn't necessarily the wild partying that you guys see on TV. It was like go to sleep early, wake up for early practice, in between practices, eat, get some studying in, go to more practices, go to sleep, repeat the process for 4 straight years. So I really grew tired of kind of like that type of structure. I needed to have that period in my life where I was kind of free. And when I first got into investing and was it was over the summer, it was really cool, the freedom that it allowed me to do, right? I didn't have to be in the office at a certain time of day, right? I can kind of make my own schedule. So if I wanted to go out and party the night before, I can do that. And I can just come to the office 10 o'clock instead of, 6 o'clock in the morning. And obviously I started thinking about the future and how I really enjoyed being able to do whatever I want whenever I wanted to. Now, again, I learned later there are limits to that. That's a gift and a curse. Like you have to have a schedule. You have to be routine. I can't just wake up and trade at any moment in a day. But at the time, that was kind of my mentality. And that freedom became more important, bigger picture than the actual money that was being made. And we've spoken about money in the past and how, money can buy happiness, right? But it only buys happiness to a certain level, right? Money only buys happiness until essentially all of your basic needs are met, right? When your basic needs aren't met, money is very, very important. When you don't have it, you're depressed, you feel this weight on you. When those basic needs are met, you feel this sense of freedom. You're no longer struggling to eat. You're no longer struggling to pay bills. You're no longer waking up stressed, not knowing, if you're going to be kicked out of your apartment next month or not. It's a massive relief. And then the next level after that is once you make a little bit more money, now not only are those basic needs met, but it allows you to do the things that you want to do in life, right? I started taking vacations. It wasn't nothing for me to be like, hey, you want to go to Foxwood Casino for a weekend? Hey, let's do it. You want to fly out to Vegas for a weekend? Hey, let's do it. You can start doing the things that really bring you more happiness, and you don't necessarily have to prepare years in advance like, I might have done in the past or do it the super cheap way. I'm still frugal, don't get me wrong, but you don't have to do it the super cheap way. And that's a relief. But after a point, that becomes kind of normal. And once again, what's going to bring you happiness, right? And there is that level in everyone's life where money stops bringing you happiness. It's funny, we spoke about the RSI this morning. We did a good lesson on divergence and how the RSI works, really breaking it down. And we spoke about the RSI and many oscillators are like this. When they're capped by a 100 or a 0 mark, right? The bulk of the change is going to happen in between the middle area, right? The closer you get to the top, the harder it is to get to that top. The closer you get to the bottom, the harder it is to get to that bottom. So the same thing with money, right? When you're in that beginning phases, right? Any amount of excess money is going to make you extremely happy. It's going to have a major impact on your life. But as you get to a point where it doesn't make as much of a difference, it's harder for money to give you that same feeling. So it has to be something else. And for me, it's freedom, specifically time freedom. And the trader that I tweeted at, he said, I agree. I think money is the main attraction when people start. But when you get the taste of freedom and what it can provide, you are hooked and you slowly but surely become unemployable. There's no going back. And I had to look at that for a minute. I said, unemployable? Like, I'm unemployable. I don't really have any skill sets. I got 2 degrees, but I don't really have any. I never had a career. I never had an actual job. I came straight from college to trading. So am I unemployable because I don't have any experience? I thought of it as a negative, but then I understood what he meant. Unemployable is not that you can't get hired for a job. It's that you don't even want to put yourself in a position to try and get hired. So when he says unemployable, it means that you never want to fill out a resume again. You never want to go to a job interview again, aside from like if you're trying to get hired by like a prop firm or something like that, but like a regular job interview, right? You've become so addicted and used to the lifestyle of being able to do whatever you want, whenever you want, having no boss, make your own decision, make your own rules, man. That is a drug. And you've gotten hooked on that drug so hard that there is no other option. There is no going back. You are gone. And that may sound like a negative for many of you, but I tell you what, I see it as a positive. I think most entrepreneurs, most traders who, essentially, if you're a trader, you are an entrepreneur, we see it as a positive as well. Because that is our motivation. We've spoken before here in the podcast about how becoming successful is hard. Remaining successful is even harder. And the reason is because that drive is different. Just like we spoke before about money and happiness or the RSI, right? When you want to become successful, it's something you never had before. All these new things unlock in your life. So you're grinding so hard. You're spending so much time. You're putting forth so much effort to get to that success because you want it. You need it. You have to have it. And what happens to many people, and you see this in jobs as well, or businesses, this is why many businesses fail within the first 1 in 5 years. Once you get it, you kind of settle. Think about a relationship, right? You work so hard to impress your partner. And then once you've been with them for a while, you stop doing the small things. You stop holding the door open. You stop putting the toilet seat up when you're done. You stop showering every day, right? You don't mind a little extra funk. You stop sneaking away when it's time to, whoop, toot, a little bit of that stuff. You just let it rip. TMI, too much information? No, just me? Okay. But you start doing those things that got you the thing in the first place. And sometimes that wrecks a relationship when you don't pay attention. You don't take time to ask how their day was, to listen to them rant when they need it. Those are the type of things that end relationships. And those are the same type of actions that end businesses, end success. When you stop doing the things that you did to get successful in the first place, you start going backwards. And because I'm so addicted to this freedom, because I am unemployable, I can't go back. I am so afraid of failure. It is my number one motivation. I am afraid to go back because, one, I can't picture another life where I'm doing something else and someone else is in control of my decisions and my life. I can't picture that. And I would do everything in my power never to go back to that. And that is the reason that I keep doing continued education. That is the reason that I continue to work on my craft. That is the reason I continue to journal and look at charts every day when I probably don't have to because I'm this experienced trader. This is the reason I do all of those small things, because the minute I stop doing those small things is the minute I may start going backwards. And the minute I may start going backwards, that puts me closer and closer to a life that I never want to have. I never want to be employable. And as long as it's up to me, I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that doesn't happen. Hey guys, hope you enjoyed the show. If you have the same drive and desire as goals that a younger me had, get started right now. Don't waste time. Head over to www.tier1trading.com. Check out that 14-day risk-free trial membership. Get on the platform, watch some training, interact with some traders who are doing what you ultimately want to do, and use that 2-week period to better yourself as a trader and see if we're the right fit. If we are, we'd love to have you on the platform as a premium member. If not, well, you still got some free education out of it, and hopefully you've learned what type of mentor to look for elsewhere. Check it out.